This episode is brought to you by Away and Upstart. More on that later. Let's get into the do.
You're watching the HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler at your mom's house.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here at Studio Jeans doing it at your mom's house. I'm Ryan Sickler. Ryan Sickler on all social media. RyanSickler.com. Head to my website. Check out the tour dates that are coming up. Sign up for my email list. And look, every week I say you guys send me so many nice messages. I'm trying to get back to as many as I can. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the show in all the ways that you do, whether it's through merch, whether it's comments, whether it's whatever. Thank you so much. I love that it's helping. And everything HoneyDew related, just go to the honeydewpodcast.com. It's all there. Social media links, the merch is there. Everything you want is there. That's your info hub. And people ask me all the time, the best way to help the show is to engage with the sponsors. So as you see sponsors you like, get on it. My buddy Woody, what's up, Woody? He's on what's up? On mybookie.com. He's 6 for 6 and making a lot of money out there, legit on it. So good for you, Woody. I'll take 10% of that shit. Anyway, thank you so much for all the support. And you guys are great. We're going to keep on doing this every week. And if you are new to the show, just coming in now, I say every week, these are the stories behind the storytellers. And our storyteller this week, first time on the HoneyDew, the man that got me into podcasting, ladies and gentlemen, the full charge, Matt Fulchiron.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here at Toad Hop Studios. Inside joke.
Way inside. Well, I can't wait to get into some stuff with you, but before we do, please plug your everything.
Right.
Everything and anything.
I have a business
your links,
too.
your show, your all of it.
Please check out my new podcast. It just came out this week. It's called Roadheads, and it's me and Louis Katz talking about all our crazy experiences with travel, giving tips on how to travel with no money. Don't ask me how I know. And I got the Full Charge Power Hour, too. That's another podcast. Ryan's on a couple episodes of that. And I'm at The Full Charge on Twitter, Instagram, thefullcharge.com, all that shit.
And you were out with Tom on some like the Canadian leg.
I did a 5-city tour.
Private jet, right?
Canada, private jets.
Told you, spending's out of control.
All the peanuts I could eat. It was great, dude. It was great. That's always a phenomenal experience because most of stand-up is just a battle. It's nice when you can do a victory lap.
And with Tom.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, it's great to see.
Generous,
it's great to see Tom succeed so far, and like all of us go so far. We were all, people don't know that we kicked around town, not making a dime for years and years and years, doing open mics, paying to do stand-up. And then
he said to me when we were out there, he goes, "Do you remember when we were doing gigs in the back of Mexican restaurants?" I was like, every once in a while, I'll still go do that shit.
Yeah, I remember Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I still do all that shit. You know what I mean?
Anytime I especially need to work stuff. You know why? I remember when we would do rooms like 3 Clubs and all that back in the day, which were great rooms.
Yeah.
But you would see Damon Wayans and people start coming in. I was like, man, if they're going to come in and work rooms like this, just to work shit. I know they're working on a set or maybe whatever it is. Then why would I not do that?
I saw that my entire career. You'd do, especially the alt rooms, the really alt rooms. You'd see the big alt comics like Zach Galifianakis and Chris Hardwick. They weren't as big then, but they were still successful.
Yeah.
And they'd come in, and you knew that was like kind of your responsibility.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to go crazy with that shit. I'm not going to do 5 of those a week.
No, hell no.
But I'll do 1 when I got some new shit, and I don't feel like ruining a paid audience's night. That's not nice.
I'll burn 40 to save 500.
Yeah, I don't want to make enemies. You know, I don't want to be on Yelp.
Well,
My parents got me on Google Alert. I don't play that shit.
Do they really?
I'm sure they do. They know a little too much about me.
This is what I want to talk about. So, you're a Maryland guy. We met way back when, bonded over that Maryland guy.
Right.
Award that for you today.
Right. That's why the first podcast was called Crab Feast.
That's right.
It was a Maryland vibe.
Yes.
And even though Randy was from Virginia, it's still the same vibe, right? I mean, it's a little different.
There,
yeah,
Delaware,
it's like
Maryland,
me and you are
Virginia.
Maryland, Randy and Danny McBride, that's Virginia.
Yeah.
You know. I put them in the same category. I'm sure Randy.
He's Carolina, North Carolina, but still,
Is he?
Danny
I thought he was
McBride.
Virginia.
Well, they all.
Whatever.
He might be from Virginia, but they
Yeah.
all went to that North Carolina.
There's a
School of
certain
the Arts.
sense of humor and there's a certain vibe from that area of the country. And it's very funny. And that's Danny McBride does it. You do it. I do it. It's like the country meets the city.
Yes.
It's the southern city.
Yes.
And there's a sense of humor and there's a self-awareness that you ain't got the best shit, but
That's
you're
right.
going to ball it out anyway. And that's what Eastbound and Down is,
100%. That
right?
is. That's all
It's like
it
I'm
is.
balling it on my level.
Yeah, that's right. On my level.
Yeah.
Be the best. I always say, be the best wherever you are.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And that's why there was nothing but lowrider trucks where I grew up. Nothing
Yeah.
but.
So talk about where you, because Maryland's a very interesting state. I've talked about, you've got Western Maryland, which is all mountains.
Yeah.
And that West Virginia area, that whole, that's a whole different life out there. Then you coming into Central Maryland suburbs,
Yeah.
which leads you into Baltimore City. Out of that, you start getting a little more toward the Chesapeake, which is very interesting people as well.
Yeah.
And, I'm told still, I've been here 20 couple years, and I'm still asked where I'm from because people think it's the South all
Yeah.
the time.
You,
But as soon as you get across that Chesapeake Bay, that eastern shore of Maryland is so it's a different kind of redneck. It's a different kind of different.
and that's what's so funny. People always, first of all, people are always like, where are you from? Maine? You're from Maine?
Maine.
You're Massachusetts? People don't really even know Maryland, which
Yeah.
is weird because it's kind of Washington, D.C. It's kind of the capital.
Yeah.
Also, people ask me questions about Maryland all the time, and I don't fucking know the answer because I just lived
Like
in my
what?
little cave. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm from such and such," and I'm like, "I don't know
where that
that.
is.
I don't know shit." I lived in Western Maryland for a year. I lived in the Baltimore
Would
suburbs.
you go to Frostburg or something?
Yeah, I did. And I lived in Baltimore suburbs for 3 years, Baltimore City for 1 year. But I mostly spent time in southern Maryland, a.k.a. St. Mary's County. That's
Yeah.
what we call it in Maryland. We go by county.
Right, that's
that
right.
means something to us.
Well, that's what Tom makes fun
Yeah.
of me because when I say, a lot of people say, when you're in the city, they'll ask you, are you from the county? They'll
Yeah.
ask you from the county. They don't necessarily know which
Right.
county, but you're not from the city.
Right.
It's a very big city county.
We all know what county we're from. And when you ask us where we're from, we say by county. And I remember just like the 50 states, I had to learn, I think the 23 or 33 counties in Maryland.
Yes.
I had to learn them all.
Yep.
Because it's that important to the culture.
It is. We
Yeah.
did too. We were testing all like Caroline, Carol, fucking
PG.
Montgomery,
What
PG,
up?
yeah, Howard, yeah,
Yeah.
Frederick.
I didn't remember so well. But
you're down by, is St. Michael's down by you that way? Or is that farther south?
I don't know. This is like every conversation I have about
That's
Maryland.
probably right next door. I have to look.
So I'm from, like I said, Southern Maryland, St. Mary's County, and it's very isolated. If we look at the shirt, can we look at the shirt real quick? It's down there. So it's very isolated. And so that's what's funny about Maryland too. I'm only 2 hours away from Annapolis, 2 hours away from DC, 2 hours from Baltimore, but I'm worlds away because I never went up there.
Yeah.
I just stayed down there. It's all crabbing, fishing, God knows what else. It used to be a
God bless.
tobacco.
Okay.
That was the economy, and they started to get paid not to grow tobacco, as you know. And so it's the Navy base. That's the main thing
Okay.
in my small town. So you got all these people that grew up there, generations and generations of Gattons and Purcells and all these fucking country ass names. And then you got all these people that just came in from wherever, these military people who come in for 3 years and then split.
Gotcha.
I'm a mix of, my parents are from New Jersey,
Okay.
like right outside of New York City. Their families always worked in New York City. So that brought a different mentality to where, to Maryland, at least as far as my household was concerned.
Why did they move to Maryland? Was your dad in the
Because my
military?
dad, so that's what I'm getting at. My dad was both in a way. He was an independent contractor
Okay.
for the government. So we got to, suck off the teat of the government without having to get shipped around all over the place.
Okay.
So I spent I was born in Southern Maryland. I was born in Hollywood,
Is it really
Maryland.
Hollywood, Maryland?
I moved to California, Maryland,
How about that?
and then St. Mary's City I moved
Okay.
to. But yeah, I forget what I was going to say about that. But
But your
yeah,
dad was transferred or got the job there?
he just got the job there, and he was stationed there, I think, in the 60s
Okay.
as in the Navy, and he swore he'd never move there.
Okay.
Because back then there was nothing there. When my mom moved there, my poor mother, she moved there she used to work in New York City.
So she went from Manhattan
to there, and she said there was
Man, that's
only a McDonald's and a grocery store when she got there.
Damn.
She said she didn't eat pizza for, years.
Yeah.
Like I think she was a little more depressed than she let on. Not depressed, just kind of not depressed, but just kind of like, this is what we're doing?
Right.
Like we're moving to southern fucking Maryland?
How close is your closest neighbor?
My closest neighbor was, we actually lived in an apartment building.
Oh, okay.
At first, which I don't remember any of that, but that's funny. That must have been about $50 a month to live in an apartment building in 1974 in Southern Maryland, right? That couldn't have been, like, here's the keys. Just pay us what you like. And then I lived in something that resembled the suburbs, but there was no herb to the sub.
Just the sub.
Yeah. And then where my parents live now and where I lived since 1988 was 3 acres of woods, so you can't even see your neighbors.
Okay.
And my dad loves it that way.
Yeah.
My mom was, I think, a little always trying to figure out like how to stay busy in Southern Maryland. My dad is a born-again redneck, goes out on boats all the time, has his own oyster traps, lives that life,
your dad
and
is doing
loves
it.
Is
he's retired
busy
now, though?
He's retired. He still works, 10 hours a week.
He'll do some stuff.
And he just fucking loves his life. He told me one day, like, and I'm surprised I never heard this. People were trying to get him to go on vacation. And then we went out in a boat and he's like, look at this bird over here. And it was huge. It was like a dinosaur. And I'm like, you don't need to go on vacation. You got it all right here. And he goes, Matthew, I got the world by the ass. And I had never even heard that expression before, which is funny because like we roll with like some of the most creative minds around and everybody's always making jokes. And I'm sure he didn't make that up, but I was like, damn, Dad, what the fuck? This is somebody that tried not to curse around me my entire life. And now there was that. It was pretty fucking funny.
My brother did the same thing. He lives in Delaware, lives on a pond, got a boat, and every night he's out fishing.
Yeah.
Every night. He just goes out for a couple hours and he'll send me pictures of the bass he catches or whatever. And he's like, there's a so I go to visit him. I take my daughter and we're out on the boat and he's like, there's a bald eagle's nest right up here. And you see him. So like he's the same way. He's pointing all this shit out. He's like, this tree got struck by lightning over here. I'm like, that's where we're going to fish for bass. And then he's
this area used to be a field over here and it's still a field. And that's how I like it.
Yeah, he's that same slower fucking pace.
I like
want to get there. That's where I want to get.
Is always stuck there. And that's another funny thing is, your whole life you hear about how California's laid back. Well, if you're from Southern Maryland, Los Angeles ain't laid back at all. Not even close. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck is all this talk about?
Yeah.
Because I go back to Southern Maryland. Like my head and my pace is always in Southern Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I can't adapt really because it stresses me out. The second I start trying to keep up with everybody, I start stressing out. And so, it's a
different mentality. It's funny. Tom and I, when we were out on the road, we were in this one hotel and it was just this, people from the Midwest are the same way as Southern Maryland and those areas, those type of areas where they're so polite, the people really polite and kind, but they tell you fuck you in the most polite way.
Sure,
That's like we were like, hey, the elevator's not working. And the lady's like, it should be. We're like, yeah.
That's what we're saying.
That's what the fuck we're trying to tell
That's our angle.
It should be. It should be.
She Jedi mind tricked your ass.
But we're on the fucking 16th floor, so before we walk up 16 fucking flights, could you give us maybe an update or call somebody?
Sure.
So she calls the maintenance guy. He comes over and she's like, they say the elevator's not working. And he says, it should be. And we're like, yeah, everyone's in agreement.
We're in
right
agreement.
Here.
So the next decision is, what are we going to do about this?
So Tom, we're like, how long is it going to be? He's like, I'm going to need 20 or 30 minutes. I said, all right. So I forgot to pack socks, which has never happened to me in my life. So I go get socks. A fan took me to Target.
No shit. You got a fan's car?
He fucking saw me walking and took me to fucking Target. Okay. I met him. It was very nice, and I forget his name, but I appreciate those socks.
GPS.
And I come back, and Tom was like, Ryan, I walked up all 16 flights of stairs, and he goes, like a movie. I get to the top, and the fucking elevator door opens up. Should be. Somebody just probably hit pause on her or some shit down there. You know? It's all that. Right. And I was just
Here's a problem right here.
Time.
Click.
That's it right there. This will do it. I guess you got to get that exercise. They'll smile and laugh at you. It's just it's a real polite fuck.
Yeah, no, I know.
I love it.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts, but I love it.
My hometown also has like a sense of humor about itself, like we were talking about. Like we call ourselves SMIBs, Southern Maryland inbreds. Like we own that shit.
Own it.
And we had our own cop cars. They were light blue, and they called them Smurfs.
Did you ever get arrested?
No, I suffer from white privilege. Like there should have been several times where I should have been arrested. Most of them involved skateboarding. Like one time, I was skateboarding with these kids who was a captain in the Navy, and we left the base. Those are always the worst kids. Like the kids that have everything going on, they're always egging you on to do something. They're like, let's sneak off base, and then let's sneak back on base. And I'm like, oh, fuck. We do it. We get busted. And then people report it. When you see people going under the fence of a Navy base property,
I mean, I would be
people
scared
call
I'd get
in.
shot.
People will pull over and fucking call because it's like highly illegal.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be scared to death. I thought you were just creeping past
No. We went
security
under a
booth or
fence.
something. You are.
But also, in our defense, fix the fucking fence.
Yeah, for real. For real.
You're supposed to be defense. You ain't even got a fence. And we were all written up. But then the captain, he came to pick us up at this ditch we were skateboarding at the designated area. And we just kind of got off. We didn't get in trouble. But then he was like, I'm going to tell your fathers. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm all nervous and shit. I get home and I tell my dad, I'm like, we snuck on the Navy base. And my dad just goes, well, don't get caught. You'll be in a lot of trouble. And I was like, all right, that's good enough. You know what I mean? I'm like,
he hadn't called yet.
I told him. He hadn't
Yeah.
called yet. If there's more to the story, at least it's not a total shock. There is no record. I'm like, thanks for the advice, Dad. It was good advice.
And the guy never called?
No, the guy never called.
See, that's a good move, man.
Yeah.
That's an intelligent move because you figure if it's a good kid, they're going to rat on themselves before and try to soften that blow.
Because I've done the other thing before.
Yeah.
I've gotten in trouble on the bus and then just be like, maybe they won't call. I'm going to go skateboarding for 3
They're gonna
hours.
pull up to your house on the bus.
Get home. You got something to tell me? Yeah.
That door up.
Well, I don't have something to tell you no more. Somebody already told you. And then one time I got in trouble, I wrote like there was these my friend was kind of teasing this girl about being a prostitute. It was totally innocent when we were 14. It was just like, it sounds horrible now in the age of calling people prostitutes. You shouldn't do that. But I remember I wrote a coupon for Lori's Hut, like $25 off blowjobs. And like my art teacher found it.
Oh.
And she's like, I'm calling your mom. She called my mom and then halfway through just kind of bailed on it because she liked me too much. And she was just kind of like, Matt's a good student, blah, blah, blah. And I never got in trouble for that.
Are you serious?
I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly what happened in the conversation, but I don't think she told my mom exactly what happened because I think my mom would be really pissed at me and my mom wasn't that pissed at me. It was really weird. I used to get in trouble a lot as a kid. Like I could not contain my smart mouth. I was always getting in trouble.
Where does that come from? I mean, obviously we all build up these defenses, but where does your what firing back come from?
I've analyzed it enough to the point where, first of all, just naturally, if somebody says something to me, my brain tries to reorganize the information and spit back a joke. That's your how
machine.
I've been.
Yeah.
And if we want to look further into it, it might be the fact that
we do.
I grew up into not a rigid authority of a household, but it was very much like you're going to, and I see it more when I go back to visit. Like if I'm washing a dish a certain way, my dad will be like, "You're washing that dish wrong. You need to what?" That's an example. That's not an actual example.
Right, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like he's going to tell you how to do everything
his way.
And I think it's always like I always feel like people are watching, and that and I still feel that way to this day. If I make a mistake and somebody calls me out, I feel dumb about it. I feel like a shame about it, even if it's nothing. And I don't blame my parents for that. The main reason they wanted me to succeed in life. So they were on my ass about getting good grades, not fucking up, not getting in trouble,
not getting
blah,
called
blah, blah.
on the Navy base.
Yeah. And then I think when you go to school and you break the rules a little bit and you don't get in a whole lot of trouble, it's like, oh, well, I can kind of break the rules here. And also there's the rush of laughter. That's a big deal too.
Yeah, forever.
And you got to figure out how to make people like you, all that bullshit. School's crazy. I don't think I really had a sense of humor until I was in like the 5th grade. Then I just started to be funny and I loved it. I loved the attention I got. and I loved being able to do it.
Right.
And I was on board
and knowing
with what
you
I was
had
doing.
that
I was my
skill.
first fan. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this. And I feel bad about that now.
That is how it has to start, though.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to be your first fan.
I do feel bad about it now some nights when I'm doing comedy and people are just shouting at me or talking or fucking with me. I'm like, this is what my poor teachers had to go through, but for 8 hours a clip.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't feel great about it, but that is the first moment of breaking the rules. And that was the way I broke the rules.
So was your dad controlling? You say, do it this way. It seems to be a do it my way type thing. Was he a controlling parent?
He wasn't a dick about it.
I don't mean that, but
And he
like,
would, like,
you
sometimes-
said rigid. Like you had, what time did you have to be in at night? Like what was your
I don't
curfew in
remember,
high
but there
school?
was definitely like a bedtime,
time, right?
and
Yeah.
there was definitely tell us where you're going, and there wasn't a whole lot of things you were supposed to do without my parents' knowledge, but also just like seriously, like I'll just give you one example, and it might not be the exact right way to go, but it was like we had to do community service for the high school I went to. I went to a Catholic high school, and that's another fucking issue we should get into.
Yeah, we can
But
talk about that.
but they had us do community service. You had to do like 30 hours to graduate, and I remember the 30 hours were up. I was help kids learn how to swim. I helped the swim lessons, and the 30 hours were up. And I'm like, my dad's like, so we're gonna wake up at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'm gonna take you. And we were like, 30 hours are up. We're not going back to work. And he's like, you're going to fucking work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
right.
I can think later in life, before I moved to Los Angeles, I stayed there a summer to work. I worked at a landscaping place, and my departure date for Los Angeles kept changing, and I was like, I had 2 more weeks at home, and my dad's like, yeah, call up and tell him you're going back into work on Monday. And I'm like, I don't fucking
He wanted you to work those
He goes,
2
you're gonna
weeks.
be here.
You're
You
gonna
gotta
work.
work. You gotta make money. Like, he's just very much like, he has, and for good reason, he's got his shit together. His finances.
Got the world by the
his
ass.
everything. He's got the world by the ass.
You gotta have the world
But
by
he's going to
your
use a
shit
condom
together.
because he's by the book. All right? He's not going to fucking spread his bullshit to the world. But no, seriously, like he's just trying to tell me a secret. This is how life works. You got to play by the rules. And you've got to, you know what the rules are. Fucking follow them and excel.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Is my dad. But then simultaneously, I was way into skateboarding. And that was a very rebellious culture.
Very, yeah.
And so there's something to that too. And then I also saw,
It's like the punk rock of sports.
yeah, and
know
you
what I
see
mean?
all
Like,
this stuff about there was only 2 magazines back then, Thrasher and Transworld, but you saw like just this California, this different world. And I was very much keeping track of that. And there was also like an unconventional thing to it. It was like, you can go kind of do your own thing for a living, whether it's like music or even skateboarding. You can like fucking skateboard for a living.
Yeah.
Not really, not forever. But that was like what I was witnessing. I was like, there's this whole other world out there. And that was very anti-authority. So there's like 2 different things going on at the same time. And then there's the Catholic Church.
I was going to ask. So
I went to Catholic school for most of my life. I went to public school for 2 years, 7th grade and 8th grade. And that was fucking awesome, by the way.
So you were Catholic school K through 6, then 7, 8 out of Catholic.
And then my
9
mom was like,
Fuck
since
that.
I was such an asshole at school, the teachers wouldn't sign off for me to go to college prep classes, even though I got pretty good grades.
It was
They were
your
like,
behavior.
fuck this guy. We're not recommending him. And my mom was like, hey, just take the test for Riken. That was like the Catholic private school. See if you can, just take it, see how well you do. And I took it, and all of a sudden I was going back to private school. And I remember just being the most disappointed I was like, I can't wear the clothes I want to wear. Like, you got to wear a dress code. You got
Right.
to tuck in your shirt, which was just blasphemy at the time. You couldn't wear
Yeah.
jeans, you couldn't wear a hat. That
Was
just
it
seemed like
sport
the end of the
coat?
world.
Was it sport coat or polo or what was your
No, you
shirt?
just had to wear a collar. It was very like advanced for their line of thinking. It was very much like, you can wear whatever you want, but there's a dress
Still
code.
can't jerk off and
Yeah,
have
yeah,
premature
yeah.
sex
Oh,
or anything,
God.
but you can wear you can wear a hoodie. today.
Yeah, and so you're learning that shit with math and science.
Right, yeah.
You're learning superstitions.
That erection you're having right now, don't touch it.
That's devils.
Let's do multiplication.
That's a straight road to hell, young man.
Do you have a sex ed class in a Catholic high school?
Yes. my Catholic high school was, and also, by the way, I went to public school during 2 very crucial years.
You did.
7th and 8th grade.
Sure
and
did.
so I got a real sex ed class.
Okay.
And that's fucking huge. I don't think they have that anymore or something. I don't know what the deal is.
They still have it. When my stepson was in, I told him when he was in 5th grade, I said, look, if I remember it right, 5th grade was the year they separated the boys and the girls and sort of gave us like a Cliff's Notes version of what was about to fucking happen. And then in 6th grade, I believe, is when they started getting into
I love the Cliff Notes versions.
Yeah.
I saw those because my mom used to work at a Lutheran church, and we'd be bored there some summer days, and we would watch these their sex ed videos.
Yeah.
The Lutheran church's sex ed videos. And it's like when a man and a woman love each other very much, they hold each other very tightly. And there's like this shitty cartoon animation of the sperm going into the womb, kind of, sort of, or like these little molecules, but they're still just hugging on the couch.
Just from holding tight.
So in my mind, it was, okay, I didn't think if I hugged someone, they would get pregnant. I thought if I was in love with somebody and I hugged them.
There had to be love involved.
That was that church science.
So do you remember the difference between the public school sex ed education and the Catholic school?
Now that I'm thinking about it, there was no high school. No, there was. We had this class called life skills.
Or health. Yeah, ours was health.
Ours was life skills, and it was a nice idea. It was, we're going to help you. It's kind of like a group. Now looking back right now, it was kind of like a group therapist section, but we didn't know that. And so we didn't really give our all. But the teacher, there was one teacher there specifically to help us get through the social part of high school. And
damn, I don't think we had any of that.
What? I know.
I don't think we had anything like that.
Yeah, my parents paid for this.
That's
I mean, that's what it was. No, but
why is your mom working at a Lutheran church
to pay for my education
at the Catholic church?
Hey, man, you get that Eucharist any way you can. Am I right?
I'm thinking I'm gonna slide over to this Catholic church and see if I can't get a little discount on that education.
Right. So there was in this Catholic school one day I specifically remember where a teacher was telling us.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are your teachers nuns, priests, both, brothers? Are they?
There's some brothers.
Okay.
There's no nuns. I did have nuns in grade school. That was rough. Mostly just regular civilian people though.
Oh, okay.
But I do remember like one day of sex ed when in a freshman life skills class. Also had this guy come in and tell us like how not to do drugs, or like he's like, you shouldn't do drugs. I'm gonna teach you some ways to relax without doing drugs.
And we can't jerk off.
Listening. Yeah. That's one thing I really resent about growing up Catholic is them telling us you can't jerk off, because I believed them. I was very what do you call that? Impressionable for like way too long.
Well, millions of people are.
Yeah, I know.
It's not just you.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't feel bad about it.
I mean, look, man, I just committed when I was, for me, it was the summer between 5th and 6th grade. I was on bunk beds. My younger brother's underneath. I'm on the top. And I just started, I didn't know anything. I just started playing with it.
Right.
And then I had an orgasm. I came and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm doing that every fucking night, all the fucking time.
Right.
Didn't know my body could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was doing or what it was.
Yeah.
But I also committed to at that point, because I went to public school, but every Sunday from elementary school through high school was Sunday school. Baptism, communion, confirmation, all that shit. And I just, at that moment, I just made the decision, like, if this, I'm cool going to hell.
Yeah.
This feels
you're
so
smarter
fucking
than
good.
me.
I am cool going to hell.
You're so much smarter
in
than me.
7th grade, we had a youth pastor at one of these lock-ins they would make us do we had to do community service for confirmation and shit.
Yeah.
And it was a younger guy who actually got in some trouble, and they moved him to Seattle, is what we were told.
Dude.
And he came up to me and my friend Anthony Biasella, and he said, isn't this better than staying home and jerking off on a Saturday night? And Anthony and I looked at each other, both like, what the fuck a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what he was going to say, or if he was going to say, they get in unison, both of us go, no. From that moment, we were fucking friends. I was like, "You're the shit, dude. You are the shit."
Who said that in the first place? Another
youth
friend?
pastor.
The youth pastor.
Yeah, the guy who was in charge of this lock-in comes over trying to rally people because he knew nobody wanted to fucking do this. We had to do this in order to get this.
Right.
And his thing was, isn't this better than staying home and jerking off on a Saturday night? And we're like, no, it's
nutty,
not.
But not surprising conversation.
Have you
to
ever
start.
jerked off?
Right.
There's not much shit better than that.
Right. That's the highlight of your day.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well, at least I got that waiting for me at the end of the day.
Now let's take a quick break and tell you about our first sponsor, Away. Away creates thoughtful products designed to change how you see the world. They started with the perfect suitcase, crafted with features that make travel more seamless, and now they offer a range of essentials that solve real travel problems. So all you have to think about is where you're headed next, because getting away means getting more out of every trip to come. Now, I've got the carry-on suitcase, all right? I take it literally everywhere I go. I love it. It's durable. It's built well. I'm not reading any of this. I'm telling you, I love my Away suitcase. The battery that comes with it, you can charge right in there, and that thing lasts for, hours and hours and hours. You can even take that battery out and use it as a spare battery when you're not traveling with your suitcase. They're lightweight. Like I said, they're durable. You get a 100-day trial to let you try any Away product on the road. Okay, that's amazing. A limited lifetime warranty means they'll fix or replace your bag if it ever gets damaged. And I did have that happen to mine, and they fixed it and sent a new one. Actually, didn't fix it. They sent a new one right away. They're TSA-approved combination locks. Keep your belongings safe. There's like I said, the optional ejectable battery. There's a removable laundry bag, which is badass, to separate your dirty clothes from your clean clothes. It's just a great suitcase. They're designed to last a lifetime. I said there's a 100-day trial on everything Away makes. If you want to see it for yourself, you can shop everything Away at their stores in New York, Austin, LA, San Francisco, Boston, Chicago, and London. All right. The suitcase is thoughtfully designed and very durable. It features, they help me keep everything organized. It's easy to carry up and down stairs because it's super lightweight. It's a minimal design that looks good in any context and with any traveler. The wheels don't stick. There's the laundry bag I already told you about. The built-in lock the TSA won't question. Knowing that Away will fix or replace my suitcase ASAP if anything ever breaks means I never have to worry about my luggage, and I depend on my luggage. Go check them out, I'm telling you right now. And for $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com/honeydew and promo code honeydew during checkout. Again, that's $20 off a suitcase, awaytravel.com/honeydew, and use promo code honeydew during checkout. Our next sponsor is Upstart, and as you've heard me say, and as most of us have found out the hard way, getting into debt is really easy and getting out is really hard, especially if your credit score isn't great. Thankfully now there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score and offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high interest credit card debt. I talk about it all the time. Right into college, I get into credit card debt, start paying for everything, and before you know it, you're at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You're paying interest on crazy amounts of money and just wasting money that you could be using to pay down the principal. And now Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They believe in you, and they understand that. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes. And the best part is once the loan's approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. I say the next day. Over 300,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked number one in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/honeydew to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and will not affect your credit. That's upstart.com/honeydew. Now let's get back into the do.
I remember this was all very embarrassing to me, but I'll tell you because we got to fill an hour. But I never jerked it till I got to college.
How old?
I was 18 years old.
Out of G's, old blue band.
No, I know it's crazy, and here's how crazy it was.
18.
Yeah, so here's how crazy it was.
But that was all because of Catholic guilt.
It was, and not only that, there was this weird thing. It was just such a different era, and it was in a small town. There was this idea that like it was being passed around, and I think maybe even from elders, or I'm not even sure.
It's fucking footloose down there.
It was like somehow I get the idea that like if you jerked off, you were gay, and gay was like the worst thing you could be.
That
where
Catholic
I grew
church
up.
preached that.
Like
There ain't no doubt about that.
I didn't even think there were actual gay people. I thought when there was a gay person in a movie, it was a joke. Like I just thought this is this horrible, horrible thing that wasn't even like really real.
Right.
But I definitely didn't want to be that.
Right.
Now I envy kids today who are like just like there's not a lot of shame.
It's like nothing. Like my friend's gay.
Yeah. And everybody knows everybody jerks off and all that stuff. Also, none of my friends were really talking about jerking off, so I didn't know about that. Here's how bad it got at one point. I was swimming a lot, which that gives you. I was like 15 years old.
Oh.
And I'm swimming every day. I could fucking cut diamonds with this thing I'm waking up with. And my balls just started really hurting. And I even started I didn't think anything of it. I even told like a couple friends, like, my balls really hurt. I told my mom, I'm like, I think I need to go to the doctor. My balls really hurt. And she's like, oh, okay. That was her moment. And she's not going to do it. And it'd be even more traumatic if she did. It was her moment to say, well, you got to fucking jerk off. But she's not going to say it. We're going to take this fucking idea all the way to the doctor's office. All right? Even though we know it's completely...
Your balls are backed up. Don't even pay the copay. Your balls are backed up.
So I sit down with this fucking doctor. And I say, yes, doctor, my testicles hurt. They're swollen. I don't know what's going on. And he's just staring at me. And he just goes like, that was his moment to say,
stick two fingers in your
asshole. You should probably jerk off.
Fire that thing off.
And he goes, well, how old are you? And I'm like 15. And he's like, looking back, you can see him like trying to figure it out in his head. Like, what should I tell this kid?
Am I allowed to ask this kid if he's ever jerked?
Well, that's really kind of typical of someone your age. Nothing wrong with you. So, see you later.
That's it.
Sent me back into the world with a balls full of semen for me to figure it out. For me to get into college.
Yeah, bro.
And then my roommate never showed up.
Another 3 years.
I know.
Holy
dude.
Shit. Did they hurt the whole time?
No, because I started having wet dreams, which is a fucking crazy thing.
I was about to ask you, because this is what I've learned now, okay?
Yeah.
I was masturbating so early and so often that when they told us...
I've read your bio. No, I'm just kidding.
When they told us about when they separated the boys and the girls and they would tell us about these wet dreams that were about to happen and all that, I wasn't having any. I had two. And I remember, I've said it before, the one I had, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was everywhere. And I was like, oh, man. Yeah. It was nothing great about it. It felt great happening because you're dreaming. You don't know what the fuck's going on. But it's just like you ever have that dream that you're taking a piss and you wake up and you're pissing yourself?
Yes,
That's all it felt like.
Well, that's funny because were you actually dreaming about sex?
I don't remember what
I was dreaming about
dreaming
flying a kite or something. And the next thing I know...
It probably wasn't, but then I'm cleaning myself up and everything. But what I learned from people who've come on here and other podcasts that masturbated later, they started having wet dreams a lot because their body started naturally releasing.
Like, we got to get rid of this shit.
Right, yes.
And I remember I came so hard I woke up beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, I woke up beforehand. I'm like, what's happening? It's just like... You know how you wait a week nowadays? Yeah. I was unloading like 50 clips, dude, and I'm like, I wouldn't stop.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? It was a molasses swamp, bro. I was like...
That's what I'm saying. You got to get up in the middle of the night all tired.
And I'm in tighty whities.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Filled up. I'm like,
we don't have air conditioning. I'm sweaty, neck sweat and shit. I got to go clean myself. This is some
hell
bullshit
of a Saturday
right here. This is what they hyped us up about right here.
Yeah.
This is some bullshit.
And I still didn't equate it with sex in any way, really, because it was like, I wasn't thinking about sex. It was just like, but my body was like, listen, we got to get on with our lives. You know,
and just finally
and then when I got to college, everybody was talking about jerking off so much. I go, I want to try this shit.
Isn't it interesting? I said
10 dry seconds later.
It used to be like middle school. A lot of kids did it, didn't talk about it. High school, almost excluding yourself. Everybody did it. you'd hear a little bit about it, and then you're right. College kids just started bragging about it.
And thank God. Yeah. There was there was an especially cool guy talking about it. Talking about how you jerked off over the weekend, and I'm like, well, if cool guy thinks it's cool, and he was even saying it in front of girls, and they weren't freaking out. They were just like, cool with it, and I was like, oh well, this is nothing.
So what helped you? That's what helped you move past the Catholic guilt and everything as well. Like, honestly, were you comfortable with it when you started doing it?
Once I found out it was, it was like socially acceptable. I was okay with it. I didn't see the harm in it. As far as sex was concerned, I still thought that was a huge deal that you could like really. I think I still believed in heaven and hell when I was 18. I really do. And I was just like, that's fucking that. No, that's crossing the line. And then I did that by the time I graduated my freshman year.
So
I was like, that ain't shit either.
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
18.
So did you jerk off first, or did you lose your virginity first?
I jerked off first, but it didn't really become a habit because I didn't jump right in. I was just kind of like,
it took me 25 years to figure out how to perfect my.
I know. And then once I started doing open mics when I was 23 and I heard about all the jerking off and all the porn and all this shit, I'm like, all right, this is a great way to get to sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I still tinker with my technique.
Listen. It's a valuable experience. You got your home games, you got your away games. You do, it's an important part of life.
It's a necessary.
As Woody Allen said, it's sex with someone you love, which I probably shouldn't quote him.
Not about that.
About anything below the belt, but whatever.
So that changed everything for you. And then were you confident dating and stuff in college or after that? Did you feel a difference?
I was never even trying to get laid when I was that young because even after I did get laid, I wasn't very comfortable with how, like, oh, fuck, I'm in like a serious relationship now.
So was your first time a girlfriend or was it a
She was a girlfriend. She was older than me. And so she was more hell-bent on getting laid. I didn't give a fuck.
She had already had sex?
Yeah.
Did she know she was taking your virginity?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah. And
how'd you know her?
I knew her. I just
walk us through the day or night that it happened.
I met her at a party. I used to go to these college parties. Frostburg was nuts.
I partied at Frost. What years?
I was only there 1 year, 92 into 93, and it was fucking amazing. I didn't like it because I didn't have any skateboarder friends, and I didn't like how much I was drinking. And I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
But when I left, I missed it.
What was the big festival they had out there?
I forget what it's called, but they had like 20 bands that all played the same fucking Alice in Chains song. They all played the same songs. It was 92.
I wish someone could create a technology that could go back in time and say, all right, in 1992, you were here and you were here.
Me and you. Yeah, no, I know.
We were
because we
probably
lived
in the same bar. I was at Frostburg. I had so many friends there. I was there a ton.
And
I dated
UMBC.
a girl that lived there.
You lived right around there.
I lived walking distance to UMBC.
Very interesting to know that stuff. But before iPhones, it's just hard to even fucking figure anything out. It's all right. We're going by memory.
So Frostburg, it was nuts. You're right. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It's
so
Western
you'd have
Maryland, Wild
they'd have
West.
what you call a happy hour. So that keg party would start at like 6, and then they had a regular at 8, and then they had a speakeasy at 2 a.m. And so I didn't go on any dates. I just met girls just getting hammered, drinking fucking Natty Light.
Yeah.
And I didn't really chase after women.
So how did this come about?
I just, got drunk at a party, hooked up, and then we just kept calling each other. You know what I mean?
You weren't dating prior to that.
No. And so I was very uncomfortable with how like she was older than me and she was kind of like bossy. And I was like, fuck, I'm in this like relationship. I'm 18.
I don't want to be getting older.
We're getting in like fights and stuff. She was 21.
Okay.
And I was just like, this is not for me. And it turned me off to having a girlfriend for a while. I didn't have another girlfriend until I was 21 years old. And I never tried to get in like a relationship at that age. I didn't like all the checking in and rules and you're going to get yelled at for this or that or whatever. Also, I only really had the one relationship, but there are cooler women out there than her.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I was always like tiptoeing around that shit. And I wasn't even trying to get laid. I didn't care about that. I knew it was great, but it seemed like a lot to go with it. And then Then around 21, I had this girlfriend, and she was so cool. And then I saw swingers, and I knew how to go out on a date. You get a number, and you call a girl up. And that's what. By that time, I had moved to Los Angeles, and that's what being young in Los Angeles is all about. You go out to bars, you try to get phone numbers, you call them up. We had it hard back in the day. We had to call a home phone, and you might get a roommate, but whatever. Or a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you hang up immediately because yeah.
Because either that's her dad or that's her old ass boyfriend. Either way, I don't need that trouble.
Right.
So I want to talk about, because obviously we meet through comedy. You leave Maryland, you get into comedy, and then you went from LA to New York in 2012.
Yeah, that's right.
So why did you decide to make that move?
Well,
and real quick, hadn't you done a little stint in New York before that, or no?
I went there once for like a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I was so fucking broke that my old job called back, and I'm like, I better go back to LA. This is in 2004 and 2005. I better take that job. And also the improv and stuff were calling me in New York. I didn't have anything going on in New York. I was like, I better get back to LA. I put in all this time, and it's kind of starting to pay off. Mm-hmm. So I went back, and that's really when my career started to click. That's like within that year, I did the HBO festival and got on the Craig Ferguson show.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I did 2 more TV spots. And it's a good thing I went back to Los Angeles because I would have been starting from scratch in New York.
Yeah.
This goes all the way to 2010 where like things just keep working out. And then
so 2012 hits.
2011 hits, and this is right around the time we start talking about doing the crab feast together.
Yeah.
You're calling me and you're like, this business is fucked up.
It still is.
And I'm like, I still had like 10 grand in the bank, so I didn't think it was that fucked up. But then I noticed I wasn't working that much, and my girlfriend broke up with me at that time. We had been living together for 2 years or so. And I was just kind of like, I wasn't feeling it in LA that much. I felt like the good times were over for a while. I felt like an outsider all of a sudden, even though a year beforehand, I felt like I had it all going on.
But did you also want to dive strictly into stand-up more than anything out
At
here,
that
like
point,
TV and shit?
At that point, yes. That's what I wanted to do. Then, jumping forward a little bit, when I got to New York, I was like, oh, stand-up.
But what was tempting you there? What made you actually
What was tempting me there was
make the move?
A change.
Okay.
A decision I could make. Because all this change was happening that I didn't like.
Right.
My girlfriend split.
Happening to you.
Yeah. And I wasn't working as much, whatever, without saying too much, whatever jobs were coming my way before were not coming my way anymore. And I was like, well, this is a perfect time to go do this thing I've always wanted to do. I've always loved visiting New York City. I've always loved performing there. But one of the main reasons I moved there is because my friend of mine told me he had a room there for $500. And I go, this is great. I'm not making that much money right now. I can go try something new. And let's go do it. But it's a shit show from the beginning because I get there and I'm walking through this hallway in the apartment, and my buddy goes, this is your room right here. And I just start laughing because it's not a room.
What was it?
It was like a wide hallway.
What?
Yeah, and so I didn't have a room. I had this like wide hallway where people could walk. Talking about never jerking off again.
Back to old days,
I'm back
bro.
to the doctor's office. And I get physically ill. I'm
like this area right here, like this wide and open, or more narrow?
I'll give you this area right here, but maybe a little bit more narrow, and the door's in the right fucking place there.
And people are walking right through your privacy?
So I have no privacy. And this fucking freaks me out because
dude,
I'm all about privacy.
Oh, yeah,
I'm all about
wouldn't
privacy.
be able to
I need
do
23 hours a day of silence. Like, it's just me. And it's easy looking back to be like, why the fuck didn't you look at a picture? I just figured that wouldn't be my room.
But who also calls that a fucking room?
That? And my friend, he burned me so bad because he goes, did I describe it properly? And that's when I knew he didn't. He knew that he didn't describe it properly. And for some reason, and this guy hated LA. And so he probably thought in his mind that I'd rather live in a hallway in New York than my one bedroom in LA, which is fucking dope. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I gave that thing up. That's the spirit. The reason I had that spirit is because I went to LA with nothing, and I accomplished some things. And even looking back now from this point, it's amazing we accomplished anything out here because it's really difficult.
It is.
And we were just young enough and I guess dumb enough, but driven enough to make some things happen for ourselves. And so I was like, that applies to New York, but I was also starting over again. So, you forget how important it is to have friends around you. I didn't have that anymore. And I knew I was going to like immediately get out of that place because I was like, this ain't working for me.
So how long were you there? A month. And where'd you go from there?
I went to this place. It's an old factory right there in Williamsburg. And it was a friend of mine, a brother of a friend of mine a brother of a friend of mine from LA, but he lived in New York, the brother. And this place is so weird. It was a small room, like maybe like a tiny studio sized room, but it had these doors that didn't lock and it had windows on them. But it's still 10 times better.
But the door that didn't lock?
Yeah.
All right, it's
still
an upgrade.
10 times, yeah,
it
still
is.
10 times better. And it was $1,000 a month. And there was like a really vicious dog that lived there.
What do you mean?
And this dog, that was the test. And this is what was fucked up. They told me later the test was, I'll go look at the place, and if the dog doesn't bite me, I get the place.
Nuh-uh.
Well, it's one of the factors, because the dog bites people, which happened later on when I was leaving. Someone came to look at the place, and the dog bit that person. So they didn't get the place. This is like 1700s, like witch trial shit.
That's just weird shit.
I know.
Dog bit him.
Right.
All right, you gotta get the fuck out of here.
And
man.
so another weird thing about this place was like the bathroom walls had like big chunks missing, and the shower was just like an above ground bathtub with the feet and everything,
claw tub.
and like a hose set up to a shower head.
A hose.
And like the shower like all the way around.
Yeah.
So it was a makeshift bathroom. And the kitchen and
$1,000
the girl that lived there was a chef, so like the refrigerator was stocked. You couldn't put anything there. She was always in the kitchen.
A chef at what? Sizzler? Where the fuck was
she was a chef at home. She was a bartender for
okay.
a living. But she's like into cooking. So like I didn't have much like kitchen. And then I in order to get into my apartment, I had to walk through
somebody's hallway
someone
bedroom.
else's apartment. Because
wait, a whole
so they had another room. They had a room, and then their kitchen was right here.
Okay.
But then my apartment was right here, so I had to walk through their kitchen. This cute young couple's kitchen.
Every time.
And most of the time they were like, "Hey," but sometimes they're just like, "Hey," and I don't blame them. I don't want to be walking through their fucking kitchen.
Right.
There's Sunday night.
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
And then also the mail system was just like a cubby hole system, like you have in grade school, like. Someone could easily steal my mail.
Yeah.
So there's that. It was the weirdest makeshift bohemian society, which actually kind of rubbed off on me. But at the time, I was just like so disoriented, and so I was so proud of myself for like becoming an adult in Los Angeles. I had the girlfriend. I had the rabbits. Remember the rabbits?
I didn't know if you'd be okay with me saying that because I didn't know if you wanted.
That was another thing. Right before the girl
was.
Right before the girl left me,
bro.
she like bought another rabbit and then left. She just bought another rabbit for me. I guess to keep me company.
2 rabbits.
Yeah,
I remember.
That's
2
how flaky
rabbits.
she was. And then, anyway, I was there, and then this ex-girlfriend of mine she worked at a bar down the street, and she kept inviting me over. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking like a maniac at this point.
Where are you
I'm
going?
fucking hammered because I'm sick to my stomach, and this is like in my, poor. I don't almost said poor me. This is not the end of the world. This is not the end of the world. When I say poor me, I mean I didn't know how to deal with shit back then.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm still figuring out how to deal with shit.
We all are, dude.
But I didn't talk to a therapist. I didn't feel like I had a lot of friends at the time. And I'm just like drinking because it made me feel better. But the problem with that is, and I didn't make a lot of bad decisions when I was drunk or anything like that, but when you're hungover, life is just misery. Yeah. And so I'm hungover every day. And I'm not seeing the optimism in this at all. I'm just seeing like, and I know better than to think like a victim at this point, but I'm like, this is rough. I'm not, and it had a lot to do with like me not, if I was making a lot of money, like first of all, I wouldn't be in these circumstances. First of all, I wouldn't have left Los Angeles. I've just been balling in LA. And that was the main problem. Like my career wasn't where I thought it was going to be. And it was like a huge regression and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get out of it. But anyway, How
long were you there?
I was only there for 9 months because I was there for 7 months at this place in Metropolitan, and I started to get used to it. I started to like the neighborhood, especially since I was drinking a lot. I started to get my favorite places to eat and all that stuff. But it was still like kind of weird. And this ex-girlfriend of mine, I used to go to her bar all the time, and we started to get along. And she was like, hey, my roommate's moving out. Do you want to come move at a place where there's like walls in the bathroom or whatever?
And locks on the door.
And a mailbox. And she was like so nice to me. I was like, this is kind of fucking weird moving in with an ex-girlfriend. But it's been 10 years or whatever. And what the fuck?
But are you moving in as a roommate, or are you moving in to try to rekindle this?
I'm moving in as a roommate, and that's fucking clear.
Yeah. But what is she wants the relationship? No. Okay.
She's so sweet to me, and she's like, I'll help you move. I got a car, blah, blah, blah. And then when I call
So you must have been a good guy when you guys split.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about that, usually. And I call her up to help. I got my stuff ready. Can you come pick it up? And she's like, I'm so fucking busy today, blah, blah, blah. She like turns, her personality turns. And as soon as I move in there, she's like straight up like yelling at me about stuff. Like yelling at me. I'm 38.
Yeah.
She's yelling at me. And it was, the only upside of this is it's like a failed relationship or a marriage fantasy camp. It's like I got to see what my life would have been like if I married her. And it would have been horrible.
You got to do that show, dude.
I made the right decision. That would be a good show.
Marriage fantasy camp.
And I called my friend to complain about it. My friend in LA. And he goes, dude, I'm getting rid of my car. Just come back. I got a car. You can have the car. And I was also running out of money and credit.
So you're there for what, a year?
I was there. I was only there for 9 months. I told her, after she kept yelling at me, I'm like, look, I'm splitting because I just can't put up with it. And this is just fucking weird. And like, I still haven't even told that's some weird shit that like your parents would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Anybody who knew would be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, yeah, there was a lot of like, what the fuck am I doing? But I didn't, at that point, which is stupid, I didn't feel like I had a lot of options. Now I see there's like tons of options. There's tons of things I could have done, but I just felt like very trapped, and I just really didn't know what to do. And I should have been talking to somebody. I should have had like a counselor or a therapist.
Yeah. For sure.
But I was just making all these decisions, and I was like drinking too. It was kind of a disaster. It was definitely a disaster. So then and then in the back of my head, I always thought, well, if shit gets crazy, I'll go back to my parents' house and just rebuild. Well, I was at my parents' house for 2 weeks, and that's when it really hit me that...
Did your dad make you work while you were there?
Of course.
What did he make you do?
Put your shoes on. I even got a joke about it.
Like, where the fuck are we
Surprise
going?
manual labor. It's like, I got to help you. You got to help me move this outboard motor, or you got to help me move this.
Yeah.
And he's like 30 years older than me, and I'm like, Dad, how young do you think I am? Like, I can have a hernia just as easy as you can. My back's not solid. Remember all that skateboarding? Dude. And so, but then that's when it really hits me that like I grew up in a house where I'm being watched all the time and I need to do things a certain way. And I'm like, I can never move back here either. Like it can't happen. I mean, it can still happen, but it's not the ideal place for me to be, obviously, but even more so than I thought. So now my idea is to go back to LA and just because I got more couches to sleep out there. Keep in mind, one mentality one through line is, I've seen it happen so many times in Los Angeles. In New York, I consider the same environment. The main reason I can't move home is because good luck happens all the time when you're in the right place. Like LA. You saw me go through something similar when I was sleeping on your couch in 2007. 1 month I'm sleeping on your couch. The next month, I have a room in my own place by the beach, and I'm starting to tour with Daniel Tosh, and I'm doing colleges, and I'm making real money for the first time in my life. And that was just a fluke. I happened to do 2 shows with Daniel Tosh in a row in LA, and we started to get along, and he started to take me on the road. And I came all the way back from San Francisco because I was in a dope-ass guest house in my my uncle's place. And I'm like, I'm going to go back to LA just to do this spot for $8.50 because this is how it works. This is how it fucking works, and that's exactly how it works.
So you drove down?
I drove down, did the set, and I remember Daniel like was really telling me like how great I did. And then a month or two later, we were working together.
Yeah.
And so
he's awesome.
I'm very well. No, he's the best.
Awesome.
And we're all very this is how it works. You kind of just have to be here. With the internet now, I'm sure things are a little bit different. You can do it from Kansas probably, but still, just socializing. I mean, how many times have you gone out and be like, "Oh, Ryan Sickler, you're still alive? Let me get you to do this gig, and I'll have you on my podcast." They see your profile on Facebook all day long, but when they see you in person, they're like, I got something for Ryan.
Yeah.
And so there's that mentality. So I'm like, I'm going back to Los Angeles.
Well, a big part of it too is just staying in it. Mm-hmm. Staying in it and working hard at it, obviously, and maintaining and keeping up, but being there, not just floating around, but staying in it.
Yeah. So then I get back, but I don't really know where I'm staying. I stayed at your place for a couple days. Then I stayed at my friend Caroline's. Then I went out to lunch with my web guy, and we went to his house, and he had a little guest house. And I'm like, dude, what do you say? $500 a month. I pay you. I live here. And he's like, cool. But this place was a shack. I don't think it definitely wasn't up to code, because I got the gas guy to come by because I needed a gas hookup, and he was like, "Are you squatting here? Like, is this legitimate?"
Squatting.
And he couldn't hook me up with gas because, first of all, the water heater was so fucked up, and second of all, I don't know, he didn't buy that this was a real residence, and so I stayed there without any hot water for $500 a month.
For how long?
From February 2013 to October 2013. So I guess
stay there that long?
Yeah,
without hot
I stayed
water?
there, and I had to flip it, even though I was only renting it. I had to make it livable.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that, like, the first night I stayed there, it was like it was so fucking cold, and I was just like, this is crazy that I'm living in this shack in East LA with no hot water. But I was also at the same time, this is the first time I've been alone in my own place in a year.
Nobody's walking through.
And I
liked
liked it.
At you.
I liked it for that reason. It was the first moment I had to myself. And so I went with it. And I knew I had work to do. I was going on the road. And I took a job at the Herald Examiner where they shoot. It's a place downtown. That's where I used to do my podcast.
That's right.
You
the
went
building
there.
down there. Yeah.
And there's a bunch of movie sets, and I got hired to be a site rep, which is just like, it's just like grunt work. You keep the place clean. You help people who you're the man of the house for people that want to film at your makeshift studio. Right. And that was tough work. That was kind of depressing just to watch everybody do. I also worked at a hair salon in New York. I left that out. I was like, I'm getting a job. I was a receptionist.
Nah.
And I was so scared to go back to work because it had been 5 years since I had a job.
Yeah, I was going to say, how the hell did you even get that job?
Well, I went out drinking with one of my friends from college, and she was like, I got this job for you. And I was about to split because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I go, all right, I'm already in New York. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to make this work. This is when I was still in make it work mode. I went to this. I couldn't sleep the whole night before because I was so I didn't get trained or anything, and now I'm going to be this receptionist for 9 hours the next day.
Shirley wants bangs on Wednesday.
Yeah. Bangs, that's easy. There's
you were
all this
sitting there taking
and Ambrose and all this bullshit.
Do you even know what that's what I'm saying?
I don't know anything.
You're right.
I don't know anything.
How are you making these?
This is a mom and pop business, so they have a special way of doing everything. They don't have computers. The first day there, my total's way off from like what's in the fucking pot. I don't lock the place up right.
Well, in your defense, you're not used to doors with locks.
It's a disaster. As everything in this time of my life, it's a disaster. And somehow I stayed on there.
For how long?
They started to like me. This was actually good for me because I started to like interact with people again. My self-esteem was really low, especially since like my girlfriend left me. I started to think I was like kind of unattractive. I thought like people didn't like me that much. Then when I'm working there, granted, women love to get their hair done. They're in a good mood, but they're laughing at everything I'm saying. Everybody I work with is laughing at everything I'm saying.
Oh, so you're being social while you're in there too. You're not just...
Because I also read this... I'm going back and forth between negative and positive thinking because I read this book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yes.
And I started to like see like the joy in like everyday life. I started to like and I got myself to certain points. I wasn't worrying. And like, I was like rock bottom anyways. And I'm like, this is like, I was like, I'm just going to keep going. And I could see like the upside to a lot of stuff. It wasn't completely depressing, but you know how it is. You go back and forth. Anyways, I start to like really value the fact that I'm like interacting with all these people, all these strangers. And that's what's good about New York too. Like I'm just interacting with more people just on the street. I'm talking to people. And that, like, I don't know. I started to see, I started to think positively, but then there was still so many tough things going on. Anyway, I started working at Herald Examiner, and I'll just never forget this one time where I'm like mopping the floor, and then I see Tosh's manager show up, and she knows me very well. And like, cause I've gone on tour with Daniel a lot.
She's in there for a haircut.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. This is back in LA. Like fast forward to LA.
All right, sorry.
Oh, but this is how much they like me at the hair salon. They're like, we're firing this other receptionist because she did this in the book. And I go, oh, actually that was me.
Oh, no.
And they go, well, we're still firing her. And that's when I knew I was in.
I
felt good about myself because this was not my dream. I wasn't particularly good at it, and they still ended up liking me there. I'm starting to get back in the groove. Anyway, and I start to accept the mentality of that, like, whatever happens, you're just going to make a living. You're just going to keep trying. You're going to keep going.
So at the Herald Examiner.
I'm mopping the floor.
Got it.
And they're filming something there for Adult Swim, and Daniel's manager shows up, and I know her really well. 3 years prior, I was on like a full North American tour. She was there, and we spent a lot of time talking, blah, blah, blah. And I see her, and I'm mopping the floor, and I just like fucking split.
Did you?
Like, because it was more for her. Like, I didn't want her to feel, there's like a weird thing with that. To me, it was work is work, but I was like, I'm not going to impose on her. I was slightly embarrassed, but I was like, I just fucking left it and just left it there. I should have gone back and said hi without the mop, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was also like mad sleep deprived working there. Like you work 16, 18-hour days.
That was hilarious.
You work like 16, 18-hour days like
Damn.
a couple times in a row, and you're losing it.
Yeah.
You're losing it. And there's asbestos in there, and you're just out of it. It's hot.
And no part of you thought, if she sees me working like this, she'll respect it and maybe even help me out? Or
my instincts were just to like split. I didn't know what to do. I just split. So yeah, again, looking back, like I would have done like so many things different at every point in the story.
Yeah, me too. In my life.
And anyway, I just kept going. I did another gig with Tosh. It was enough to get me a security deposit on a apartment that my landlord from before was renting me. I got the place. Still didn't have enough money to decorate it. This time the gas guy came over and he hooked up the gas. But then he was like, good luck.
He said good luck.
It looked like a crack house, dude. There was no pictures. There was no
gas
nothing.
Man throwing
dude.
you a good luck.
It still took me another year and a half before I was on the up and up and could buy like real furniture and stuff. Once again, Tosh saved the day. He called me up. He's like, we're going on tour.
The best.
And I was back in the game. And then I went to New York just to do a victory lap so I could enjoy it. Me and Ari Shafir traded apartments.
Well, that's
and
nice.
It was like, I'm going to go back with money in the bank and enjoy it. And I ended up meeting my girlfriend there that trip. And happily ever after, dude. I'm so fucking happy right now.
But you came here for a minute and then went back, right? You didn't stay.
Yeah, so I just went there for a month.
Mm-hmm.
But then what I'm telling you is a big part of my life now is just I have a great relationship with this girl I live with in New York.
Yeah.
And that's like a big foundation because the business we're in is always it's very fickle, it's very impersonal,
ever changing,
and it's always changing. And now I have a constant, and I just feel good now. And I never thought like you should depend on a relationship for your happiness, but fuck it, if you can get it from there,
yeah. All right.
take it.
Yeah.
If it's making you happy.
Take it wherever the fuck it comes from if it's making you happy. As long as you're not hurting anybody.
I would not want to go through all that shit again, but once the dots are connected, it leads to a big place. And that is the HoneyDew.
That is the HoneyDew
Yeah.
of Matt Fulchiron right there, brother. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
My
opening
pleasure.
up like that. It was really great to have you here. One more time, plug whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. Please just check out Roadhead's podcast. It's good. It's on iTunes.
And the
at the
Full
full
Charge
charge.
Power Hour.
At the full charge. Full charge power hour is funny as fuck. Check that out. There's only like 360 episodes of that if you want to get into that.
Episodes. Check it
It's
all
pretty
out.
funny.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
This is awesome, man. I'm Ryan Sickler on all social media, ryansickler.com. Talk to you all next week.